Hi guys, and welcome back to ADSR Pro with me, Mike Smith. Cubase 8.5 has been released today and we're going to have a look at Retrologue 2. Obviously a newly updated version of the original Retrologue, which was kind of a great synth. For me, lacked a little bit of something, and to be honest, so far with Retrologue 2 it's kind of addressed a lot of issues and makes it a much more powerful synth. So let's have a look. So there we have Retrologue, and the first thing to notice in this top section is we've got three little tabs. So we've got the original synth page, we've also now got an arpeggiator page, and we've got a effects page. So all very nice, nicely laid out, nice big tabs we could just click on. Let's go back to the initial synth page, and you'll see here we've got an additional oscillator now, which is great, obviously, for making bigger, thicker sounds, more modulation possibilities. And speaking of which, we've actually got another couple of Lfos. So the original one only had 2 Lfos, we've now got 4. The oscillator as well is different in the sense that we've now got sync and cross modulation as well, which is a nice addition. So first of all, the voice section up here looks pretty much the same, and the main section up here looks pretty much the same as it did previously. Like I say, the difference now is with the oscillators. So what I'm going to do is I'm kind of just flicking through the manual as well. So first of all, let's come to the oscillator section, and like I said, you will see now that we've got 4 waveforms, but we've got this different sort of type of sync and cross modulation, which is kind of cool. So sync obviously provides a different hard sync oscillators, where each is a combination of a master and a slave oscillator. The waveform of a slave oscillator, be it a sine, a triangle, saw, or a square, is reset with each full wave cycle. So let's go back, let's go to a single. Sync. And that beautiful sort of sync sound. Obviously the shape determines the amount of sync. Cross modulation. Cross modulation provides a combination of 2 oscillators, where a master oscillator is modulating the pitch of a slave oscillator, the slave oscillator being the sine, triangle, saw, or square, at an audio rate. So great for getting some nice effects and so on. So X, or exclusive, compares 2 square waveforms with the XOR operation. Depending on the outcome, the waveform of the third oscillator, the sine, triangle, saw, or square, is reset. So and we've got multi-oscillator, same as before. Allows us to create detune. So that's a number of voices there that we can slide up and down from 1 to 8, and obviously the amount of detune on each. So, and then we've got the phase. So let's have a look. So phase determines the initial phase of the oscillator when you play a note. If this is set to free phase, the oscillator runs freely and continuously. If this is set to random phase, the oscillator starts with a random phase. And if it's set to fixed phase, you can specify a fixed rate. So let's go to fixed, and there you can determine the rate or the amount of phase from 0. I'm presuming that goes to, let's have a look, 360. Okay, so nice to have the sync and cross modulation. Great, like I said before, with 2 oscillators and a sub oscillator, it was kind of nice, and you could make some nice, great patches. Obviously with these new types of sync and cross modulation, you're going to be able to get some much more complex sounds, and of course we should be able to modulate each of these with a, let's go Lfo 1 destination. Let's see if we can do oscillator 1 shape. Okay, so there you can hear You're gonna get some amazing sounds out of that. For me, I'd have kind of liked some. I mean, there's quite a lot of modulation sources, but I'm sure there could be more. But initially, plenty to keep you going, plenty to create some huge complex patches from effects, huge pads. The additional Lfos will make a big difference. So that's kind of what you can see on the front end. Let's now go to the effects section. So the first thing I notice here, you've got the different effects that you can turn on. And what I noticed as well is you can actually determine which way round these go. So currently it's going from left to right, so resonator, EQ, phaser, mod, delay, reverb. But what you can do, for instance, you could maybe say I want my EQ at the beginning, and we'll put the resonator down here, and let's move that there. So again, this does make a difference with regards to synthesis. Depending, you know, we've got a delay there which would then go into the reverb. If we put the reverb first, you'd get a real washed out sound going into the delay, so it'd sound kind of different. So loads of different options here. And again, down at the bottom we've got our different EQ shelving. So we've got like a low pass and a high pass and some peaks. We've got a gain plus and minus 12 dB. We've got the Q, so we could be real fine and maybe get rid of some unwanted frequencies, or we could have quite a broad EQ and just apply a little bump in the center to bring out the mids. So really nice addition. So let's start with the EQ. I'll just select a preset. So there you can hear it slightly. Let's bring out the highs. So into our modulation effects. So let's turn that on. So there's our phaser. So there you've got the rate, which is syncable. Obviously syncs to the tempo of your track. And you've got the phase. Depth. Shift. Feedback. You've got a low cut. And a high cut, which is nice, so you can tweak. Obviously the phase is sort of only affecting in the mid-range there, or you could maybe low cut and just have it affecting the highs. Then into modulation. And we've got different types: chorus, flanger and ensemble. So we've gone from a basic oscillator to quite a thick sort of sound, and then we've got the resonator. Now, what I noticed up here, where you've got a little arrow on a disc, you can actually save presets, or you can import presets. So let's pick one of them. And with the resonator, you've got different shapes, but you've also got a load of presets in here. So you've got modulated presets and some static presets. Let's obviously try the modulating ones. So let's try that one. So what you've got here, you've got three different bands: high band, mid band and low band. you've got the filter cutoff and the resonance, and then you've got the Lfo Modulation Depth and ARP Modulation Depth, and also again. So let's if we click the Lfo tab, that brings us to the Lfo page, which I'm presuming this Lfo Modulation Depth refers to this Lfo. Again, Lfo 1, 2 and 3. I'm presuming each one of those represents low, mid and high. So and a nice to have a mix control as well, so you can apply just part of it. So there's your dry signal up to 100% wet and anywhere in between. So you can see there, you can get some real complex evolving sort of sound. That's just one note of a single oscillator with nothing added. You apply some more Lfos in the main synth page, manipulating filter cutoff and resonance or pan and pitch, and you've got all sorts going on. So then reverb. Again, mix control. You got your main time, the high time, which is here. Controls the reverb time for the high frequencies of the reverb tail. With positive values, the decay time of the high frequency is longer, negative is shorter. Which frequencies are affected depends on the high frequency parameter. And low time controls the reverb time for the low frequencies of the reverb tail with positive values, and the decay time of the low frequencies is longer, with negative values it's shorter. So you've then got a pre-delay, room size, high cut, chorus in, rate and depth. Again, one oscillator, and then delay. Again, you've got your mix amount, you've got your sync button, which syncs it to tempo, and your delay times. Let's take it to 3. And so you've got delay, there's center, left and right, high frequency, feedback, and your different types. Nice. Send feedback down. And your mix amount. Again, that's all just one oscillator. So you can turn individual items off as well. And as we were saying before about changing the chain, let's put the reverb at the very end. Delay up there. Resonator at the beginning. And let's EQ it before it goes into the reverb. Now, I would mess around with those because obviously it does determine quite a lot of how the sound is processed and how it will sound at the end of the chain. So it is always worth messing about. So let's put the reverb at the beginning, for instance. Put it at the end. Completely different sound. So yeah, look into that. And now let's go to the ARP section. In fact, let's turn all of these off and click on the ARP section. Okay, so in the ARP section, we've got a main section, steps, tempo, and performance. So let's turn the ARP on. And you've got your different modes: step, chord, up, down. Let's play a couple of them. Chord, up, down. So there's your different modes, different trigger modes: next beat, next measure, restart mode, off, key mode, velocity mode, hold. Let's put hold on and we'll just do a down, and let's just, okay. Let's turn that off a minute. Actually, let's have a look at this. Phrase, bass and contemporary ARP. Wow, loads of presets. So, nice. Control ARP. And what else? Dance ARPs. So plenty of presets to choose from to start with, which is nice. Again, they've obviously spent quite a lot of time programming. Okay, so let's see what else you can do here. Ah, very nice. Very much like Omnisphere. So you can select your steps. Obviously here you select your pitches. And that's velocity. Obviously you can turn notes on and off. So let's just have this at, right, okay, so let's, okay. So if we select the right hand side, we can determine like the gate length of the notes. Okay, and we can also join the notes together, which is nice. Okay. So that's kind of cool. And that's like a slide. Okay. So, and we've got these different controller lanes here. So let's just put a pattern in there. And looking at these, you've got a modulation source. So let's do that one to cut off. Apply an amount. Go back to the synth page. Okay, so let's, okay. Let's do another modulation for resonance. Let's do another one for okay. Bipolar on and off. Let's have a look at this. So what we got? So that's the key modes. Right, step section. Keeps the late. So you'll have to excuse me, I'm kind of looking through the manual at the same time to see what's what. So specifying the pattern length, obviously we've done that. We use this slider to determine, in fact let's put that to 16 and be a bit more adventurous with this. So you can get some pretty complex patterns up to 32 steps. And okay, what we need to look at is control length parameters. Let's have a look. So we've got depth, which is what we've done, which applies how much modulation depth. For instance, in this case, going to filter cutoff. Destination specifies the destination, which is filter cutoff in this case. A mod allows you to specify a second source that is used to scale the modulation intensity. For example, select the modulation wheel. So if I go to mod and mod wheel, so I'm moving my mod wheel on the keyboard and you can hear there it's applying more or less of the effect. Mod down. So let's apply mod wheel to all of these and we can hear. So that's with the mod wheel down. So you can hear there, you can bring life to your patches, you can have it quite subdued and not really doing much, just sort of being in the background, and obviously using the mod wheel we can bring things forward, and you know, the filter cutoffs opening up more, as is the resonance and the distortion. So really, really nice to have this section, and to be honest, this for me makes Retrologue so much better than it's ever been. It's almost a new, completely new synthesizer now because of this. It means you don't have to use third-party arpeggios or even the inbuilt ones in Cubase, and you can obviously do lots of complex routing in here to different parameters within the synth as well, which is super, super good. We've got a groove function here as well, actually. Okay, need to groove quantize depth. Okay, to adapt the timing of a phrase to an external MIDI file, you can drop the MIDI file into. Okay, so we can actually drop MIDI file to be used as a groove quantize reference here. So that'll be interesting. So I'm guessing you can import a MIDI file from, let's say, MediaBay, and obviously it's going to apply the groove of that MIDI file to this. But on the other side of the scale, we've actually got a swing value here as well. Nice. Wow, just so many different parameters to choose from. Yeah, I think that's roughly about it. I mean, this has just been kind of a quick overview of some of the possibilities. What I will do is actually spend more time going through the manual and also creating some patches from scratch, and let's see what we can do. I just know for a fact with the use of cross modulation and sync, as well as the additional oscillator, not to mention this Lfo section, the actual main bulk of the patch is obviously going to be more powerful than before, because you've got that extra oscillator for another layer, as well as the sub and noise oscillator. The couple of Lfos allow you to be able to modulate more things, which is nice. The modulation matrix, again, plenty to choose from in here. And yeah, other than that, that arpeggiator and the additional use of effects makes this one really, really powerful VST. Well done, Steinberg. Definitely well needed, and I can't wait to get stuck in and spend some days synthesizing. So until next time, take care. Bye bye.
Search what's all